What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to Shawn's Riff Time Machine. This week we're going to go back to Germany and talk about one of my favorite heavy metal bands, and that is Edguy. Edguy is second generation power metal. Ridiculous name. Still don't really know what it means. The band has not been very forthcoming with that. But after Halloween and Blind Guardian kind of invented this genre and really made it something, other bands started to form that were influenced by that, and one of them was Edguy. They started when they were just kids, 13, 14, or 15 years old, something like that. They released a demo called Savage Poetry, and it's a bit rough, but you can really tell where they're going with that. And by like the third album, they had Hansi Kirsch from Blind Guardian doing guest vocals, and it really opened the door for them. And they've had a really big and successful career as far as, power metal bands can go. Their sound and style has changed a lot. They've gone more towards just a straightforward hard rock sound, kind of in the last couple of albums, with just a little touch of aggressive power metal in there. And I think it kind of comes down to Tobias, the vocalist. He's the main songwriter, really. I think he contributed most of the music for Edguy. He's kind of changed his style, and he's just kind of into different things right now. When the band started, it started as Edguy, and then as time went on, Tobias formed Avantasia, which is kind of his side project. So things of a more operatic or musical nature. He released 2 metal operas that have multiple vocal parts and lots of choir vocals and things that Edguy wasn't quite doing. And that kind of was on the side, and Edguy was the main band. And as time has gone on, it's actually flipped. Avantasia is his main focus, and it's just anything goes. Clean piano music. It's beautiful, awesome albums, but the power metal touch is largely fading. And Edguy is just sort of, who knows what's going on with him anymore. It's unfortunate, but I found out about power metal. I guess I knew about some American power metal bands. As I said before, I was a big fan of Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, and they influenced bands over here. I was aware of Jag Panzer and Iced Earth. Even old Queensryche could be kind of lumped in with that, but I didn't know it very well. Radio Chaos, I've talked about that before, was a program on K-Bear on Sunday nights. And in 2003, the summer of 2003, I found out about a whole bunch of really, really cool music. And although power metal was never really showcased on Radio Chaos, bands like Nevermore were, and kind of a progressive, I think Symphony X probably was as well. So I was able to find a lot of good quality power metal bands through some of the heavier progressive metal that was showcased there. And I'll talk about this in more detail. The very first time I really had power metal fall in my lap, it happened on accident at Starbound Records, and I'll talk about that another time. But before I left on my mission, which would have been that following March in 2004, I had a massive CD collection. I probably had close to 500 albums that I'd purchased. Maybe had burned from friends as well. It wasn't all just legitimate. But when I came back to an incredibly large music collection. Gigs upon gigs. There's probably 150 gigs of music that was waiting for me, that my brothers, Brett and Brad, had collected, both legitimately and nefariously. And there's this laundry list of stuff I had to get to. Brett wanted me to get into Quo Vadis and Blood Red Throne and Winter Sun and Insiferum. And then there was a section for power metal. And at the top of that list was Edguy, who I had not heard before I got home. Edguy's Hellfire Club, so their 2004 album was there. And man, is that an incredible piece of music. It just blew me away. It was like getting hit with a 2x4. The opening track, Mysteria, just power metal anthem. And the album is pretty diverse. They've got some kind of progressive-y stuff, some clean to big chorus. They have some ballady music on there, and several straightforward, aggressive power metal tracks. It's not my favorite from them, but it's close second, easily close second. But with it being, the first one I ever heard, and the impact that this song specifically had on me, I had to include it in this Shawn's Riff Time Machine. I've seen Edguy twice. I've seen Avantasia once. Edguy I saw in 2007 and 2008. 2007 was a road trip to Denver from here. Me and Brady and Brett and Ryan. We drove to Denver to see Edguy. And it was a really solid show. And then about a year later, Brett and I ended up in Los Angeles to see That's actually 2 shows. We caught 2 shows while we were there. Iced Earth headline, 1 show, and then 2 nights later, we saw Camelot with Edguy. And Edguy did play Mysteria on the 2nd show that we saw. It was pretty amazing. So, yeah, so like I said before, the power metal genre is probably my favorite when it's fired on all cylinders. I think it just incorporates everything I love about electric guitar and fast drumming and all those things. So this is Mysteria. I'm playing along with the track because I think it just needs that. By itself, there's some spots where it's a little bit dull. Not dull, but like you do a lot of just downstroke palm mutes, open palm mutes, where some vocals go. So I don't want to include all that stuff by myself. So I thought, well, let's play along with a little piece of the track. So this is the intro up through the first chorus. But I'll have, as always, a piece of it down below. Go listen to it. It's incredible and should be your gateway band into power metal, or your gateway song into power metal. Enjoy it. It's got a wicked solid intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freakshow!
Days and Nights. Go give it a listen. It's a solid song.